Dating a man and marry a man that isn't in control of his sexuality is going to cost you a lot, especially as a woman when you are trying to do certain things in your life. If you are someone who is in the public eye, if you are someone who is doing things out in the community and you are dating a man that cannot seem to have control over his sexuality, where he is sleeping around with multiple people, okay? The risk of you actually being involved with a person who doesn't have a form of control over his sexuality is something that is going to cost you, especially when you, again, are a woman that is in a public eye. Like, to think of things like such as the risk of you catching a, STD. You have to think of the risks of women trying to approach you and to fight you over men. Women coming into your establishment and they are creating all chaos. You have to think about things, such as, women that are involved in a man's life in general. How do these women particularly see this man? Do they, want to be with this man intimately? Or who are these women exactly? You don't want to take the risk of baby mothers, lawsuits, where your reputation is being jeopardized, where people no longer want to work with you because of the fact that women are coming up to your business and they're busting out your car windows and they are doing all kind of crazy things to you. Women actually married men that were sexually out of control, and they have businesses that they begin to treat their clients a certain way. So if there's a woman that their husband is attracted to, and whether you are a woman that isn't interested in the husband, the boss or whoever the person is, they will begin to treat the person a specific way. So when you are a woman who has a ministry or a business that requires you to work with women, fraternizing in the place of employment, that right there could be considered as sexual harassment, especially if the woman decides that she's upset with him or she doesn't want him, or he is sexually harassing her. Like, by all means, if your husband is a person who's sexually harassing someone, he needs to be held accountable, and that's going to fall back on you. Using the company's resources for personal use, like the company car, when they're using the company car to go and see their mistress, or if you have a husband who is an addict, you have to think about those things. Like, that's a representation of your company. Those are things that you need to be concerned about because of the fact that it puts a stain on the way that you do things. If he's cheating, then most likely he's stealing. That's another thing too that you have to be mindful of. Him taking trips, him spending company money to do certain things that are for his mistress and different things of that sort. These are things that you have to be mindful of when you are a woman that is headed to do certain things in your life. Be cautious of these kind of things because there are so many issues that can come along with that. And when you're messing with company money, cars actually track mileage. Those are things that affect your business. So you have to be mindful of those things when you are dealing with a person. Again, when it comes to the money, when it comes to company assets and things that are being used for personal use, that is not pertaining to you and the person that you are partnering with, which is your spouse. In most cases, if you are partnering with your spouse, then yeah, you want to be with somebody who's more responsible. And to understand this, guys, there are a lot of people who are attractive, but they have no integrity. Okay? No woman, I'm sure in their right mind, wants to hear other women say how they've been, involved with their husband. That's embarrassing, you guys, and nobody wants to deal with that. So be mindful again of the kind of man that you are dealing with, because you don't want the kind of man that every woman has had, guys. So yeah, just kind of think about that a little bit. Just meditate on that, because women literally sit together and they talk about things. Like, what a lot of men don't know is that women particularly talk about men who are promiscuous, okay? And men think that they are seen as being the player, but there are a lot of women who sit in sitting groups and they giggle about the fact that they've been with the same men. There are women who do things that are absolutely unprofessional when they are with a man, and another woman is seeing the man that they are dating. They begin to do things that could possibly cost them, their livelihood, literally behind a man. Not being able to hire certain women, especially women who are gifted and talented. Why can't you hire specific women because your husband cannot keep it in his pants? This is something that you don't want to deal with. You want to be able to engage with other women. There are going to be attractive women, especially if you have a business that has something to do with beauty and different things of that sort. You're going to want the more attractive women to work there. You're going to want people around you that can, draw attention and different things of that sort. Why should you be fearful of actually hiring somebody who's attractive because of the fact that your husband doesn't know how to have control over his sexuality? Okay, this is something that is a major concern. Also, if your husband is doing things that are even worse than being with women, where he's doing other things as well, that can be a problem. You're trying to build a business and you're trying to build aspects of your life and you're planning to do certain things in your life, to think about those things ahead of time. Don't wait until you actually start these things and then you all of a sudden, you begin to date an individual and you're figuring out things and you're not really sure as to the nature of their relational dynamic, or is this person even capable of being monogamous, okay? Having a husband who fraternizes with clients is not only just an embarrassment, not only does it jeopardize your business, but it can cause you to have a lot of lawsuits, especially if you are dealing with the younger generation, okay, where there are a lot of men who tend to be attracted to younger women. This man could cause you possibly to be sued. You can face a lot of lawsuits. You'll have to face issues where you are now paying child support for your husband because he's been entangling himself with other women within your business and different things of that sort, and even outside of the business. So these are things that you have to be really cautious of when you are dealing with a man who doesn't have a form of control. And with the person who has this selfish nature, they will risk it all, because this is the thing about lust. Lust is something that is very hard for a person to have under control, okay? And if this person isn't attracted to you, if this person doesn't love you more than the physicality of other individuals that they may see, this is going to be a problem for you, and it is going to affect your life.